All right, Rob, we're going to take a look at this is you and David from Saturday. So, what we're working on here were some infighting things. I think this is going to be important because I think you're going to wind up in this position a lot. Um, and for a second part of this drill, what we're going to do is I want you to add in more punches. So, let's take a look at what happened with David and what we can improve upon, etc. I'm going to turn this down just a little. I do like to hear a little bit of the ring. All right, so let's take a look. So that was very good head control. Let's watch that again. Boom. So I liked that. You will get possibly cautioned for that. They're going to say, hey, keep off the top of his head. You just go, yup, sorry, thanks. And then you just get back to the action. Nice slip. Now, that beautiful slip and the hook hit him in the back. So let's watch that again. Beautiful slip. See, there's nothing wrong. What happened? A punch to the back is no good. An arm on his back to turn him is fine. But what I liked is I liked how quick your reaction was. So it was very good. Beautiful slip left. Slip lefts are hard. Now, what happened here? I'm going to slow this down. What am I doing here? I want to slow. All right, we'll go here. So what this is important. Beautiful slip. Boom. That would have been a much better headshot. And right here, there's that jab. I was just about to say, right here, you should be jabbing. Look where your right arm is. We'll save that for later. Beautiful job to start jabbing. You need more of that. So I know what you're doing. You're slipping right to get away from those punches. So you got that jab, nice right hand, boom. Now, this is too far back. It's going to take forever to get where you want, where you're trying to get it to go. And right here, this is where this should have been up in a wedge block. So here we go here. You left the arm down with no attempt to bring it back up. See how you landed that right hand? You wouldn't have gotten hit, and you would have landed that right hand. What you need to start doing in your on your own training, where you're at home doing your slips, slip, come up with something. Slip right, come up wedge block. Slip right, come up with a jab. Slip right, come back with a two. Slip right, come back with a wedge block. Slip right, come back with a jab. Slip right, come back with a two. Over and over and over and over again. Got to get it in your DNA. Because it's not bad movement here. Now, the other thing, see all this space? You've allowed him to keep that space. The picture that I sent this morning, so I'm making this Monday, April 20th. The picture that I sent this morning to you and to Serena with, you have Fernanda, and then a second one is a picture of you. See how close you were in that picture? That's how close you need to be in this moment here. So as you're here, you don't want that space here. Unless you're going to be punching, you don't want that space. That was a good combination. So let's give you some credit here for being in a bad position and then doing the right things. So here this space shouldn't have happened, and now that's where you should be. Beautiful job. And then jab, jab. Nice roll, and now it's not terrible, Rob. Jab, 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 jab. Let's go back. Let's watch that again. Jab, 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 jab. So that's what should be happening. So we'll start this sort of positioning drill. Or we'll still keep going here. I think this is more flowy. I'm going to put back regular speed. It looks so much faster now that it's, let me just double check. Now that we're back to regular speed, it just looks faster to me. Normal, okay. This is where we should be jabbing. We should be jabbing. We should be jabbing, or dot 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 away, or jabbing, or doing something. Now that jab, there we go. So fine, we'll play patty cake. We'll occupy space. We'll eat that clock up. He got upper hand 2 out of the 3 times. He took upper hand position. He's got upper hand position. Good. So on those, Rob, we're pushing the punches rather than just kind of snapping them. We're either trying to get power. We don't have to try to get power. We just got to get work. See how we're pushing a bit? I do like the. I do like the. So now what's happening here? Why'd we get hit? So let's watch what happens with our head. So here we are. Head movement. Head's right there. Head's right there. Head's right there. It's just there. That's why he can just take it. Good attempt at the tie-up. But what's happening at the tie-up, you're leaving your bottom. If you remember, again, I'm going to refer to that picture. The picture I sent this morning, you're in. Your hips are like your pelvis to pelvis. Your hips are in. You've got the right position. You're not getting hit. And here you're leaving your butt out and you're getting hit. That was a nice little screenshot. Well, let me see if I can recapture. That's nice. That's a nice position. Right hand is up. You don't see it dangling anywhere. Stance looks good. Good posture. Boom. Great position. And your tie-up attempt, he's slippery, but also you're not getting close. You're fighting with just the upper body, not letting your legs help. Nice wedge block. And now, so I don't. This is it's a repeating theme. Nice wedge block. And now, so because he's getting a little bit of aggressive and getting momentum, this is a bad position for you to be in. I get that you're slipping right, but it's almost like you're slipping right and staying there, and we're missing something. Something's missing. So, no, not a bad escape. Not a bad escape. I just don't like. I don't like that position. And see how he's bouncing here. So he's bouncing there. That's either an invitation to work or it's an invitation to disengage. What I would like to see from you at this point is, I'm going to say I want to leave it up to you. I want you to trust your gut and to figure out which is going to be best for you. For me, depending on your speed, if you're able to get in there before he can set, get in there before he can set. If you can't get in there before he can set, disengage. That's what it comes down to. Because let's watch David. Forget you for a moment. Don't watch you. Let's just watch David. Watch David. David's not ready to work. David is not ready to work. He's bouncing. He's not ready to work. Now he's ready to work. Let's watch that again. Not ready to work. Not ready to work. Let's watch that again. Now, actually, let's change perspective for a minute. Let's watch you. Let's watch you. You're ready to work. You're ready to work. See how you're ready to work? Let's watch David. Not ready to work. He's not ready. He's getting ready, but he's not ready. Now he's ready. So in that moment, you either disengage when he's bouncing, or if you can get in before he's ready to work, get in before he's ready to work. But you got to make that decision. Now he's ready to work, and so he comes in. Now he's working. And again, some of these are going behind the head, not good. Now, that was an interesting moment. So I'm sure you're feeling like you're getting smothered and your ass kicked. You're really not. And you could see, here's proof of why and where you're not. Right there. Watch what David does right there. He covers up. If you were to jab, he'd have to maintain defensive discipline. Because you're not jabbing, he is now able to just move in. And he does it very well. He does it better than Casey does. I think it's Casey. David. I don't know, whoever the fuck you're fighting. David does it better than he does, and more calmly, more serial killer-like, which I dig. Now, what I like too with David. Now, perfect. Hold on. Look at your position here. You weren't in a good position. Your butt was out. You got the hands right. But you're not, again, you're gonna get sick of hearing this. Look at that picture that I sent this morning with you and that I don't know that guy's name. You're in the right position. You're chest to chest, you're belt to belt, you're in there. There's no room for him to work, so he has to hang on. He can wriggle and jiggle and do whatever the fuck he wants. There's no room for him to work. And here, you leave David room to work. Look at all his room to work. And you can see you're both tired here. So this was great. You're establishing your jab. You've got the higher hand position. Now he got higher hand position. Jab, jab. There we go. There's the jab. Jab, jab. And now, see, you're staring at the ground. And you can see your body language, your lower body language is coming this way. And it's as if you acquiesced there. You get into that you slip right, and then you just reside yourself to, I'm going to stay here and get hit. As opposed to, I've slipped right, I'm going to roll to my left. The slip right is temporary. It's a temporary position. Boom, you should be up throwing. Or up time. There we go. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. You have him on the run. If you gave him opportunity to come back. So this is what we talked about before, about why we need you to throw more punches. When you're not punching, you're giving opportunity. So you just did some great work. You threw a bunch of punches, which is more than you normally throw. But then And it's not, Rob, it's not true that you have to, be Manny Pacquiao and just throw 18,000 bazillion punches. It's, if you're, let's take a look. Beautiful job. And now, jab, jab. See how you're out? See how you're bent over and you're out? Look at the picture I sent this morning. Look how you're standing up. Your chest to chest, your head is off to the side, your belt to belt, your chest to chest. There's no room for him to work. And here there's room. Beautiful unleashing there. 4 punches, but we need more than 4. I was gonna say what I want to do. It's beat this. This will belabor and beat the point. What I wanted to do is going to rewind and count how many punches you throw this round, and then count how many David throws. But I think the point is clear. You need to throw more punches. You don't need to throw constantly throughout. You don't need to just keep throwing and throwing and throwing and throwing. You need a little more output, Rob. We need a little more output. We need definitely more jabs. See how you're jabbing there? Boom, boom. That right there. Right the fuck there. This is it. This is it. Imagine if you did this every time he started to come forward. So imagine if you did that. Ready? What if you did that here, right here? What if you did that here? What if you did that here? Oh, here's what happens when you do that there. What if you did that here? What if you did that here? What if you threw those same 4 punches? What if you threw those same 4 punches here? That's what we need. That's what we need. Next, we're working on the inside sort of check hook moment. Again, this is important. So let's take a look. Little too far out. That was a good one. Even though the power wasn't there, that was a good position. Nice stepping to the outside pivot out. Too far away, you didn't even touch him. Pivot out, that was a good one. Nice little pivot in with a cross, very good. Nice pivot in with a cross, very good. Nice pivot out with that hook, very good. Didn't really go anywhere there. You got the right hook, that was a good, that right there, the weakest one was the best one. Boom, right position, just the weakest one was the best one in terms of the technique. Too far out. Good. Good. By the way, and under duress, those two were excellent. Under duress, he's touching you, and under duress, you're able to still complete. Just it was very good work, especially that. Just good work. Good work there. Good footwork there. Now, what I'd want to see, remember, we just finished, and I kept saying, what if you threw those 4 here? What if you threw those 4 punches here? What if you threw those 4 punches here? What we just kind of went over. So let's watch here. And again, you're not doing it here because that's not the drill. What I want to demonstrate is, what if you threw those 4 right there? What if you threw those 4 right there? What if you threw those 4 right there? What if you threw those four right there? Ooh, what if you threw those four punches right there? What if you threw those four punches right here? That's what I'm talking about. And this, I dig you went southpaw on it. Very nice. We're pushing that punch. Very nice. And I know you're tired. Keep going. And you can see how these see how far out you are. So he's able to track and follow. Better. And then what if you threw those four there? Better. What if you threw those four there? Much better. What if you threw those four there? Nice pivot in. What if you threw a 2-3-2 there? So you get the gist. You get the idea of I don't want to belabor the point. So that's sort of what we need now. You've got, your defense is good. You're able to pick off punches like when you're just out of the 50-50 and working, it's good stuff. Once we're entered into that 50-50, just as you could see, because that's going to happen. Like he's going to, again, just based on, we'll watch that again. Let's watch the film study of your halfway sparring with him, and we'll take looks of the moments where he's in the 50-50. Which we'll do another film study as we get closer, just to reanalyze. I like doing a kind of redo a film study of the film study, kind of. Anyway, I don't want to give the impression that all is lost. All is not lost. I don't want to leave that impression. I want you to know that you're doing really good work. What we need to do is we've got to reach. I want you at a certain level where if you're having a bad night, you'll still do well. There's a thing Ronda Rousey's mother would always say: you have to be the best on your worst night, or something to that effect. And there's something in there. I'm not saying that you have to be the best in the world on your worst night. But you have to perform. You have to perform better than he does on a bad night, if that makes sense. And I think that's one of the messages I'm looking for. The other thing, more output, and it's not over. We have weeks to continue this type of training. We have weeks. So that's that. I'll see you Tuesday.